Welcome to the WFNY radio station, where we discuss all aspects of business, stock market, cryptocurrency. Building Wealth with your host, Wanda Fields, on WFNY FM at beamnetworkenterprises.com.
Welcome to the WFNY radio station. I'm your host, Wanda Fields, coming to you live straight from New York City on the WFNY radio station. And let me just give folks Facebook some time to gather in our audience. Host Wanda Fields, coming to you live. And I hope folks can hear me. Can you hear me well? Let me just take a look to make sure that Facebook has me on here so you guys can hear us. Okay, awesome. And we just want to say hello to everyone. I feel like I'm coming in double. Just come in, let us know where you're coming in from. If you're coming in from New York, if you're coming in from California, just let us know where you're coming in from, folks. Okay, so I'm just going to start. Okay, because I got to give Facebook some time to the algorithms to work. So I'm Wanda Fields, your host from the WFNY radio station. And the WFNY radio station is a team of phenomenal personalities, financial experts, and business owners coming to you live to discuss all aspects of business, investing in the stock market, cryptocurrency, options trading, insurance, real estate, and building community by practicing group economics and personal life challenging issues that may arise as we are on our road toward success. So the WFNY radio station's sole purpose is to educate while entertaining and give people a platform to speak the truth about how to live a financial free lifestyle and unselfishly add value to the world. And as the WFNY radio station expands, the positive impact that we have in the world, it grows. So stay tuned for what's to come. And in fact, get involved in your financial freedom. And so the team that we have here, the Financial Evolution team, the team has been here faithfully. We have all been here since 2017 on the WFNY radio station. That was in December, bringing financial education to the masses. And I bring you today Nick Henderson. Nick Henderson is the producer of the Crypto Dab Life show. And Nick Henderson is a cryptocurrency trader who specializes in the area of crypto and blockchain. And he believes that the digital currency is the future of the world's economy. So join Nick to follow the development of cryptocurrency and to acquire some valuable information, because he definitely brings it on. And then we're going to have Erica Patmore, the Queen of Gold. And she is the founder of the Legacy Builder Show. She's also the producer of the Legacy Builder Show, educating folks about precious metals. And Erica is also the CEO of the Legacy Builders Incorporated. And she has her passion is to help as many people as she can to build generational wealth and leave a long legacy. And then we have LJ Walker. LJ Walker is a real estate enthusiast and the author of the book, The Perils of Real Estate, Scam Alert. She is the producer of the Real Estate Group show, and she is also the CEO of the company Property Phase, along with 17 years of experience as a real estate investor. And then you have me, Wanda, Wanda Fields. I'm the author of the ebook, The Third Gen Investment Guide, and the producer of the Speak Life and Financial Freedom show. And I'm educating folks about the stock market. Okay. And so we have been here since December 2017, kicking it live, and there appears to be a greater issue that needs to be discussed tonight that we can resolve some of the mindset and the financial issues that people face in this recession, okay, that could possibly turn out to be a depression. So this is serious, folks. But I want to welcome tonight, I want to welcome everyone, Lily, Welcome to you, Erica. Oh, Erica's not even in here. And Nick, welcome you all. And Lily, welcome you all to the WFNY radio station, our financial evolution. Okay. And so everyone has a story, right? Everyone has a story to tell. So what compelled all you guys to get involved in the investment world? And Lily, you can go first.
Okay, well, to be quite honest with you, I've been interested in real estate for a long time. I had suppressed that dream, that drive for a little while. And then after I moved into my neighborhood, I noticed that many of the people who moved in with me are now gone because the area became gentrified. So that furthered my interest and furthered my zeal into getting more involved into real estate investing.
Oh, wow. And Nick?
Yeah. So I got into learning about blockchain and crypto in 2017. And it was that time I was actually seeking out entrepreneurship and realized, I couldn't continue in my job, and my situation wasn't going to change at all if I just continued working my job that I was working at. If I wanted a better life for myself, for my daughters, and provide for them, I had to do something different. So, kept seeking out opportunities and just found crypto and blockchain. And I've always been into technology, and so I've just been learning it ever since.
Erica?
My story is very different. It's really interesting how I happened upon learning about precious metals. It was just all by an incident happened in my life where I was starting over at a certain age because of divorce, and lost everything in my divorce, and was talking to a really good girlfriend of mine who's financially astute. And she started sharing with me what she had been doing. She'd spoken to me about precious metals, and she'd been saving precious metals, as well as she had real estate investments. She'd been buying food and water. Long story short, I ended up, after that, getting a phone call from somebody that I really respected, and he started talking to me about gold and silver. And I'm thinking, this is weird, because I just had a conversation with my girlfriend. He invited me to go meet some young ladies in Buckhead. And pretty much the rest was history. These were very successful women who had a television show, had a couple of cable shows on television. And they wanted to educate the community about the importance of protecting their money and wealth with precious metals, because they lost a lot in 2008 listening to their financial advisors, and they were primarily heavily involved in the stock market. So and I thought this was amazing, and I wanted to partner with them and sort of spread the good news and to help the community. And that's really how I got involved in the whole industry of precious metals.
And for myself, how I got involved, my parents passed away. First of all, we weren't taught, my sister and brother and I, we weren't taught about the stock market, but I found it strange that my parents, when my dad died back in 2014, he invested in the stock market, and then my mom died a year later. So I joined the group called the Abacus. I was one of the first students in the Abacus. Mm-hmm. And it was me and another girl, and she left, and I stayed. And so I started learning the stock market. And so from there, I kept learning. I didn't invest until I learned the stock market. And so for years, and it wasn't until 2017 I started trading in stocks and options trading. I learned from the Discover Your Options, Jay Johnson School Academy. I learned how to trade options. And then from there, I went to learn about cryptocurrency with Jamar James. And so I learned everything I needed to know about, and it's still more to learn, let me tell you. And so I learned, and that's still my school, DCG. And so every now and then I go back into DCG and start learning and things like that, right? Because it's a school that you're always there, right, Nick? You know all about it. And so DCG is where I learned everything about cryptocurrency. And now currently I'm learning how to trade US 30 with Courtney Logan, the the US 30 Academy. He's the US 30 Academy king, right? And so for me, I like to learn about different things so I can know how to trade, because I want to be versatile in my trading. So when this goes bad, I can go jump over here, right?
Right.
And so that's how I got started. And so how do we address the problem now in our economy with the COVID-19? You don't hear about that anymore. And most recently, the job claims, the financial health of the economy. And folks, just chime in. What's going on with gold, and crypto, and then real estate? And I'll give my little report on the stock market.
I don't know who wants to start first.
Go ahead.
Okay, Lily or Nick?
Nick, you're the only guy. You go ahead. We're going to let you go first because we like to talk.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. I think the COVID is still there. It's just we're not hearing about it because all the unrest and everything is going on right now. We probably will still hear about it because I think numbers are still kind of going up. So I think we will hear more about it here later, next 2 weeks to a month, until we get a vaccine, which definitely research on that, about vaccines. But, there's a lot of things going on with the COVID, with unrest, the economy being shut down for this time. We saw what that did to the markets. Crypto did take a big dip when the stock market dropped off, partly because of COVID, partly because over leverage platforms that pushed the market down further. But it made a V shape, comeback, and we're back at where it was before it dropped. So and as far as cycles with crypto, we're kind of in this new cycle that's just begun from the halving to where it should be a bullish. If the same kind of cycle happens, or in a long-term bullish type cycle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Erica?
Well, with the COVID-19, obviously, with so many people being laid off of work, and also having so much money being printed by the government, obviously, that's further devaluing the dollar. So what we did see is an increase in gold, and silver has been lagging a little bit, but that's gone up. But we've seen that happen because as the dollar gets weaker, obviously, then you will start to see the price of gold and silver increase. Now what has been challenging, what has really kind of hurt us in a sense, but it's been hard to get gold and silver delivered a lot of times because with the companies use FedEx, and obviously because of the COVID, you couldn't sign for it and things like that. So we had those types of issues happen as a result of COVID. But we're also had a situation where so many people started running into safe haven assets like gold and silver that you also saw it's hard to get. It's not as easy to acquire as before, right? People were selling out left and right, just like there were guns, just like there were toilet paper and everything else. So this is basically how, we've seen the market's affected, but certainly they're projecting another stimulus check that's going to happen. And, obviously that's going to further, unfortunately, it's good for the people who need it, but at the same time, all of this excess printing weakens the dollar further. And so they're talking about, of course, we're already experiencing inflation, but, the possibility of hyperinflation is very real. So.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll just share with you guys what's going on in real estate. I would say all of the firms that were up on their technology and all of the townships that had updated technology, it's sort of like smooth sailing, so to speak. There have been laws that have been changed because in the past, the notary had to appear in person in many townships. Now they don't have to. Now you can sign using Adobe Sign or DocuSign or what have you. In some markets, COVID has slowed things down. In other markets, people are seeing multiple offers on a home. Now, when it comes to actual viewing a home, many realtors are doing it virtually.
Right.
Those are the ones that were set up virtually before this happened. So sorry about that. So excuse me for a
That's
second.
okay. It's okay.
I will say on this while she's gone, as far as like blockchain, you're gonna have ability with like smart contracts and even your deeds. You can be able to use blockchain to secure those in real estate.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that, you guys.
It's okay.
So basically, and also when it comes to getting your home inspected, the inspector has to go into the house by himself.
Wow.
Or some inspectors are actually doing it virtually as well. So again, it depends on whether or not that company was set up their technology was up to par before COVID, then it was a little bit easier for them to get into the market, to make sales, to do whatever it is that they need to do. Those who were behind, it's taking them a little bit longer, because even like some of the tax offices are still closed. Some of the courthouses in certain townships, they're still closed. So when you try to do a closing, you can't do a full closing as of yet in some places. Even to get approval, like I have a friend, he's doing gut rehabs in New Jersey. There are certain homes that he bought that he can't do anything, because you need approval, especially when you're doing a gut, you need approval at certain stages. He can't get those approvals because the courthouses are closed. But in other townships, he's able to move forward because they're open. So it varies from township, from city to city, and then also the actual companies that you're dealing with. How technically advanced are they?
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. And so on the stock market before the bell, June 5th, which is Friday, right? The stock market was up 3 consecutive days.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so the Labor Department reported at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time that the latest week had been 1.8 million new jobless filings. And for the first week in over two months, this figure had dipped below 2 million. And so the tally was above expectation and brought the aggregate number of job losses since COVID-19. And it first struck more than 42 million, actually. And then so the Dow Industrial Average started to climb into the green after the first half of the trading, and the advance would then continue for an hour before the second round of selling would ensue, which would carry the Dow into the red once more, right? So the losses would persist well into afternoon. In the afternoon time, there was some losses that the composite reachings was around 3 o'clock p.m. So at that time, the Dow was off by 200 points. Okay, and the concern was just that the release of the monthly report on the jobs for U.S. Labor Department, there was some concern about the ongoing protests in the streets, which have been less disruptive in the past day or two. But for the most part, the news has been more reassuring. And so meanwhile, the other indexes were weak, with the S&P 500 staying in the red, right? And after the first hour, and then NASDAQ remaining lower as well, right? And so that's my report. Yeah, that's my report. So let's discuss the financial assets and why should people invest? Why should people invest in gold? Why should people invest in cryptocurrency and in real estate?
Okay, since you said gold first and silver, and I also want to say that for the things that I teach, I don't teach gold and silver as investment strategies, but more as financial insurance. So that's my take. Some people do gold and silver as an investment where they're buying ETFs and things like that, because I mean gold and silver obviously, I mean it is volatile. It is what it is, but the way that I teach it as more financial insurance, looking at the fact that as the dollar has gotten weaker, for instance, and this is very elementary, I told people 100 years ago, if you took $20 would have bought you an ounce of gold, right? Gold right now, 100 years later, is $1,696 an ounce. So let's just look at if you had taken that $20, you took $20 bill, stuck it under your mattress, and then you took $20 and bought an ounce of gold. Now today you pull them both out. You look at what that ounce of gold would buy versus what that $20 would buy today. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
What it has done is to retain your purchasing power. So now, $1,696, what could you buy with that versus what could you get with a $20 bill? So when you're looking at your dollar getting weaker and weaker and weaker, gold and silver, and this is the way, of course, I teach it, not as an investment strategy, but more as a way for you to protect your money as a hedge of protection against inflation, against devaluation of, your hard-earned currency. And that's the way, I teach people. So,
So, but certainly, Erica, during times of recession, gold is like a safe haven, right?
It is a safe haven. It's
economic crisis. Yeah, and a lot of investors, they flock to gold, right?
Yeah. I mean, as the economy, as we saw how, when things started, the stock market in the beginning started crashing, people got worried, and then they started. So you've got the governments, you've got, major banks and all of that. I mean, people go to gold and silver as safe havens. And yes, there are people who invest in gold and silver and ETFs, and that's sort of the paper thing, but I don't. That's not what I teach. For me, it's just like you said, it's a hedge of protection against inflation. So it's financial insurance to protect your money from losing its purchasing power. And that's how I teach it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll jump in there to crypto because it kind of relates to gold as far as that same way as the devaluation of the dollar. If like you were saying, if you put a $20 bills under your mattress 100 years ago, the value of that is way down because of inflation, because money printer go burr. In the crypto field, we talk about the money printer. The money printer goes burr because they keep printing. And that devalues the dollar. You see it in other countries. They've done the same thing, hyperinflation, because they printed so much money. And so crypto is kind of a new digital asset, and it's also kind of a similar as gold, safe haven, a hedge against traditional markets. Mm-hmm. And it's a new form of currency and trade. Kind of like people back in the days traded silk for your chicken. Now we have digital ways of different currencies that different projects and things. You can say, hey, I want to trade this for that. Is the way I kind of see it. Digital currencies.
Now, do you mind if I ask Nick a question?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. We
an interesting comment, and I've heard this comment made to me several times, but I heard someone talk about it today. And one of the things they said is, if gold and silver and even cryptocurrency is so great, and it's supposed to, why would somebody if you claim the dollar is losing its value, why would you take paper that doesn't have any value? Why would you take it and are able to get gold, which is so valuable for crypto, for gold and silver? Okay. I could not respond to that person, but what would you tell someone who says something like that to you?
So if I understand this right, they're saying, why would you use that dollar that you think is worthless to buy something? Well, if the dollar's worthless, then why have it? Why keep it when you can buy something that is it's not worthless, which would be gold, silver, precious metals, crypto, real estate, things that can gain value as far. But the dollar, I mean, just look at the history. You look it up. Everybody can look it up themselves. It's the value of a dollar. 100 years ago, I could buy a loaf of bread for 5 cents, and now it's going to cost me $2 to buy a loaf of bread.
Right. And
Exactly.
one thing I add, knowing about from my own studies in crypto, many already know that no cryptocurrency has ever had to face life amidst an economic recession historically, right? And so the first cryptocurrency, let's say Bitcoin, that was born out of fire of the 2008 banking crisis. People fail to realize that. And so with its mysterious creator, what's his name? Satoshi
Nakamoto.
Clear about his aim to replace the monetary system ruled by central banks. So Bitcoin, basically designed as a peer-to-peer financial network, was designated as a new kind of money. Okay. Yep. But decentralized money, right? No government control, right? Yep. I like that. Love it.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And so, Lily, you want me to go or you go? It doesn't matter.
I'll go since you called my name.
Okay.
Okay. Well, real estate, as many of you know, I mean, goes back to the Bible. I mean, it's been important for centuries, for years. Even the American economy, the colors are red, black, and green. Green is for the land. And ironically, if you even look at the Pan-African colors, red, black, and green again, green is for the land. So land has always been important, not just in our culture in America, but throughout history in all cultures. You can do so much with real estate as far as making money with it. You can rent it out. You can do Airbnb. You can do corporate housing. You can do nurse. There's many traveling nurses right now, especially now with COVID, that need a place to stay. So you can rent your house out that way. If you have land, a backyard, and you make it nice, you can actually rent that out. And to people who want to have a wedding, there are people who are interested in outdoor weddings. I have a friend who rents out her property to movie studios. There are several movies that have been shot in my neighborhood, and the homeowners association does get paid. She's also gotten paid because they've actually gone inside of her house. So when you lose your job, if you have a house, the great thing about it is there's always a way in which you can get income in. So it's sort of like a hedge against if you lose your job. It's that extra income. You can also use the equity in your home to purchase more homes, or you can use the equity to pay for your medical bills or any other kind of bill that you have. So that, I would say, is one of the benefits or one of the important things about owning real estate, and why real estate is a good investment to have. Plus, you can, as many of you know, you can transfer it over to your children. It is also generational wealth. If you, of course, manage your property right and your money right.
Yeah. So, Lily, let me ask you a question. For in a recession, can real estate a good investment? And can it be the best time to invest in real estate? Like property investments, could it produce stable income, and real estate may be less sensitive to volatility, but property may outperform stocks and bonds, correct? Just correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. Sometimes, and again, it really depends on the market. The last recession that we had back in 2008, New York City really wasn't affected, but Atlanta, Dallas was affected. That's what many people have told me. But I had no problem getting another tenant here in New York. Okay. But other people said that they were having problems getting tenants. The values of their properties dropped. The values of our properties did not drop. As a matter of fact, many of them were either stable or they raised up in price in Manhattan, that is. If you were out in Queens, that's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it really depends on the city or the town that you're located in when it comes to appreciation. But you have places like, for example, Indiana. Um, when you invest in the Midwest, you don't look for appreciation because their appreciation either is not that great or it's just stable. But when it comes to income, you'll definitely can get income in the Midwest.
Okay.
So it really, it kind of really depends on the market that you choose, where you real estate is about location.
Right.
Location, location, location. It
Yeah.
really is about location.
Mm-hmm.
It's also about as far as what strategy you use in order to get the money that you want.
Okay.
Okay, because you can make money in a recession in real estate. It is the best time when it's a recession. It is the best time to buy real estate, but you want to make sure that you don't over leverage, meaning
Right.
you don't buy too much. It's good not to buy too much property. That's another thing that happened back in 2008 is that some people went ahead and bought 20 houses, and then the tenants lost their job, couldn't pay the rent.
Wow.
They may have had a side job and lost their job. So then that's why some of them ended up going into foreclosure and going belly up, and some of them even filed for bankruptcy. Bankruptcy actually is another strategy, but that's another story for another day.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you can make money. It's just look at your strategy, and recession is definitely one of the best times to buy. I just would say don't buy like everything in sight. Really look at the numbers first. The numbers really matter.
Hmm. You're able to get a lot of discounts, I would suppose, because people are going into foreclosures and bankruptcy, so you're able to get properties, I would assume, on at good deals. And I have to, after this, Lily, I have to ask you, I'm looking for a place to rent out for my daughter's birthday. So
Okay.
with that, somewhere that we want a pool.
Okay. Just throw that in there, right? So why should people invest in the stock market? But when the economy is down, it's natural for investors to be curious about how to make money invested in a recession, right? And so while certain investments such as stocks can be more volatile in the down market, investors may be able to benefit from a recession if they follow some strategies that some experts that like financial analysts, like they say, with your 401k, right, and an IRA or regular brokerage account, and so they say it's wise to continue these contributions, especially during a recession. I totally don't agree with that. I agree. I say take your 401k out and invest it in cryptocurrency and go. I'm left-handed, so I do stuff backwards, right? But that's what I say. Take out that 401k. And because what I seen with my 401k, when I believe it was last year, when the banker stole all the money from us, remember, I was expecting to be winning because historically certain companies were doing good at a certain, like in December around Christmas time, like Energizer and stuff. And so, boy, did I get a rude awakening. But when I looked at my 401k, it was going down. I was like, oh, no. No. And I believe at that time, Jamal was telling folks, take your money out of the 401k. Boy, did I do that. I was like, oh, no. So I learned my lesson through experience as it relates to that. And so then there's the idea of dollar cost averaging, especially with stocks, that they're generally buying shares at a higher price when the economy is going strong, and lower prices during the recession. And as you buy lower, you are averaging the price lower, which may boost returns in the long run.
Yeah, there's a strategy for that for Bitcoin. There's actually a website. I don't have it. I don't remember it offhand, but you can go back and look at history, and it'll show you if you invested $100 a month since 2017, it would tell you your percent up you would be right now. So that's if you're not a trader, if you're not looking to trade short term or short trades, dollar cost averaging is a good way.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Can I interject?
Yes.
Yeah, a friend of mine, she took out $250,000 out of her 401.
Yes.
She bought a house and flipped it, sold it for $750,000.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I just wish she put it in the self-directed IRA so that she wouldn't be taxed. But she said even with the tax, she still made more money if she just had left it.
Oh, that's awesome.
In her 401.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, yes, go ahead.
Nick, what I guess what wallets do you use or you suggest for buying cryptocurrency? Because I know Coinbase have to do a lot of reporting now. But what do you suggest? Way you suggest someone out to buy?
Right. Yeah, Coinbase, and they recently came out. Some info came out about this company. They bought it, I think, a year ago. Tracks and sends all info back to the IRS and government officials. So, yeah, I don't really recommend Coinbase. It's a good platform.
Yeah,
but I use an app called Voyager and also Cash App.
Okay.
With Cash App, you can only buy Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
But Voyager has several different options on Voyager.
Okay, never heard of them. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And then wallets, if you want to store it in a wallet, you can. There's a company called Ledger where you can store your crypto.
Yeah.
And then also Exodus is a good wallet. It's like a desktop kind of wallet.
And Nick, I believe it was this week or last week that Coinbase is working with government now.
Well, yeah, there's a company they purchased a year ago. I forget the name of it, but it's to where they track all the blockchain transactions, and they're saying the reason they did that is so they can share that back with the IRS and the government officials.
Okay. And so, why is learning first very important, and hiring a coach and mentor or a tutor important, or should someone go at it alone?
Yeah, I'll go.
I knew you was going to say something to that.
I didn't grow up an entrepreneur. It wasn't part of my family, and it was something I started after my divorce, and my mom passed away from ALS, and going out alone, it's just I don't recommend it. I mean, I started out on my own, and there is learning there. It's nothing wrong with going alone, but it's definitely going to take you longer, and there's things you have to figure out on your own, and to me, that's just going to take you longer process, and it's better to have a coach or a mentor. I mean, if you look at any athletes, they have coaches, they have mentors, and some of the best even pay extra to have mentors and coaches outside of what's required to do.
Right.
And the reason they do that is because they want to up their game. They want to be the best and at the top. And so they invest in coaches and mentors. And so you can apply that in any sector of life. If you have mentors and coaches, you're going to be able to get where you want to be, where your dreams are, quicker and faster.
Yes, I totally agree. Anyone else? Well, I would say never jump blindly into, especially the stock markets. You should invest in the stock market after getting the basic knowledge about it, and the financial goals, your financial goals also. And because, like, for me, I say this from experience, because I had to learn the hard way, right? And I mean, the hard way I learned, because I used to act like I was at a gambling casino, especially when I started trading. When I first started out in the stock market, I was learning the fundamentals, and I did not invest for 3 years. I did not invest in 3 years. But in 2017, when I started learning how to trade, oh my gosh, I really learned a lot about myself. And I don't even like to gamble. But I was functioning as if I was gambling at Atlantic City somewhere, And so the stock market is not a money market machine. It just simply isn't, right? And so you have to educate yourself to handle the basics at least first, and get an understanding of the financial metrics and the definitions of things. When I say metrics, I mean like P ratios, return on investment. That's what I teach. I teach the fundamentals and the formulas and the financials. So you get to know where the money's at, right? You want to know where the money's at, and so it's very important to gain some understanding about the market and its relationship with the economy as well, such as market relationships with inflation, the GDP, the fiscal deficit, the crude prices, just so much. You just don't jump to the market without understanding the economic investment market cycle, because it's so much to learn. I'm gonna tell you, especially when you get to trading. Now, since I've been trading with Jamar and Courtney, I'm going to say this, and I got to say this. I'm a swing trader. I love options trading. But when I started taking their classes, I started learning more about the mind, and it really, and especially even now, like I've been noticing, like I'm caught up with my classes, but there was times I had to rest and even ask myself, Wanda, is this really something you want to do? Because I'm going to tell you, being a professional trader, it's not easy. It's not easy. There's so much that the discipline. And I didn't know this. I'm thinking like, I can just place a stock option. And then if that goes low, just take out another company. Like I was like, no, it don't work like that. It does not work like that. I'm sorry. So the mindset is everything, right? Mm-hmm. And so, folks, get yourself, hire a coach or a mentor to teach you how this works. Seriously, because the risk is when you don't know, and you're following everybody else. That's more risky, right?
And I want to say something to that. I mean, fortunately for me, when I got involved in the in this area of financial education and precious metals, specifically because I got introduced to it through network marketing. Obviously you have mentors and coaches that are teaching you and training you. One of the biggest things I learned, which I did not know, because, I had so many people calling me from Facebook wanting me to spend all this time explaining them about gold and silver and blah, 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 blah. And then they'll go and pick it up from somewhere else. They didn't even have the courtesy to get it from me. They would go somewhere else and get it. What they didn't understand, that there's two different laws that govern bullion versus coins. Okay. They have no idea when they're buying the coins. They're coins from the US Mint that you are literally the bearer of. So if, the government at any point, and they will go rogue, and they have in the past, and, they have in the past say, we want our gold back, right? Because even though you spent your money on it, you're still the bearer of. So understanding bullion versus coins, and understanding, like, the company, one of the companies I'm affiliated with, you're getting that gold and silver from a mint in Switzerland or Dubai or someplace overseas. So, if you do like coins and you're a coin lover, well, it's a religious coin, right? Why is that significant? Because it does not fall underneath the confiscation laws. So these are things, as you said, most people don't know. So, they might see me on Facebook saying get gold and silver, and they'll just go call wherever and just go buy, silver coins and gold coins, and they don't know, right? Because they're not taking the time to get, like you said, they're not taking the time to get mentored and coached and things like that. So that's really important. That's really important.
Yeah. So that leads me to the next question. Having the right mindset while investing, is this important, or no, it's not needed?
I'll go with that.
Okay.
I'll tackle that and also answer the previous question. Your emotions do, in fact,
Yeah,
affect
tell
your
me about it.
investments.
Yes.
Okay. If you're not emotionally stable, for example, I'm seeing a lot of people who are emotionally abused or being physically abused in their relationship, and then they want to go out and buy a house. That might not necessarily be the best thing for them to do. There is something called buyer's remorse. Or you may have a job that you don't like, and you're just so desperate that you'll just, pick a home that's just not suitable for you or not suitable for anybody at all.
Right.
Another reason why you need to educate yourself, read the number of books before you even get a mentor, is because unfortunately in real estate, you have mentors that are also con artists and they're
Oh,
just
right.
after your money. Okay. So that's another reason why you need to sit down, educate yourself, read some books, listen to some, well, you got to be careful of some of the YouTube videos that you listen to because
Right.
unfortunately some of them are on YouTube as well
Yeah.
that will also con you out of your money. But definitely read a book or two or three or four before you go out searching for a coach. And when you go out, even if you're just a home buyer, even if you're not looking to invest, it is good when you have somebody else with you to help you choose your home because buyer's remorse is real.
Hmm.
It's one thing to look at it, but it's another thing to actually live there. And somebody who's not invested, who has separate eyes, they can show you things that you might not see if you go by yourself. So,
Yeah. Yes.
Um, you
Yeah.
want to go? Nikki? You want me to?
Go ahead.
What?
I'll go after you.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, in the case of what I'm doing, what I'm teaching, I think more or less it's a proper mental attitude because what you're literally doing, again, I'm not teaching investment, so it's a little different than what you guys are talking about. But the mental attitude that Robert Kiyosaki talks about, or Mike Maloney talks about, savers are losers, meaning that if you are saving in something that is constantly losing value, that basically you're losing. So the proper mental attitude to have is to, okay, when I get this currency, I'm going to take a certain percentage of that, whether it's 10% or, whatever you designate. And I'm going to take a bit of that every time I get paid. And I'm going to exchange this declining dollar for something that maintains its purchasing power, which in this case is, I'm referring to, of course, precious metals in my case. So I think it's just having that understanding that what money is, because gold and silver is God's money versus the dollar, which is currency, and understanding, having that education that currency has always failed. I don't care if you go historically speaking, it has always failed. And last thing I'm going to say is if you're listening carefully, what's going on with the COVID-19 and the COVID, they're wanting to introduce a vaccine and a chip and all of that because they know the dollar is failing. They're going to be going towards some kind of cryptocurrency. Okay, you're going to have that chip. That's why they've gotten us all used to the chip in the debit card right now, right? You go to the store, you got a chip, you got a chip. You have to understand the programming, right? So, lo and behold,
Right.
lo and behold, eventually we're going to move out of this currency, the dollar, because it's falling into something else. And my assumption, obviously getting something decentralized, that Bitcoin, like of course Nick is talking about, is good. But when you're talking about something governmental regulated, that's it's a whole nother story. So I'll leave it there.
Go ahead, Nick. What you was gonna say about crypto?
I think she's right. She hit the nail on the head. I think because we're already seeing the government's talking about a stable coin, which would be a digital dollar, and implementing that, and that it will be centralized, not decentralized, and by the government, and they'll control it and trying to chip you and do things like that. I would definitely get educated, It's definitely important to be educated on anything investment you're getting in, whether crypto, precious metals, or real estate, or stock market. And definitely for coaches or mentors, research them, reach out to other people that's maybe used them or using those right, to get recommendations and do some research before you rush into anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say for me, what I've learned and through the teachings is that when you're trading and you're investing, you're learning a lot about yourself. Okay. You're learning. I mean, it's like a journey of self-discovery, because I didn't know that I had this adrenaline when I place a trade, like a gambling addict, and I don't even like gambling. I didn't know that about myself, and then until I started stopping and somebody point me in a direction to look inwards, and so it's a belief that is not seriously shaken by few or even several losing trades, right? And so for me, the basic belief in my ability to be a winning trader, it requires me to also look inside of myself and see what's going on with me, and writing it down, because I journal. I always journal. So I journal and write down what's going on with me. And what I found is a self-discovery about something I never even knew, exists about myself, because I don't like gambling at all. So as an investor, does an investor need to know about the economy? Because it's been from my experience and what I've been taught from expert traders and fundamentalists, that knowledge of the economics can help investing, and it gives you an advantage over other investors that your power, right? The second level thinking, are already well tuned in already. And so it enables you to think what changes in the business cycle will have on different assets and industries and countries. And it means you've already got the passion to study what's going on around you. So in the markets, and in the microeconomy. So for me, I would say yes. You need to know globally too, because it affects what's happening here.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying it does. I'm going to let you go, Nick. Yeah. You're the only man. You're getting all the.
Yeah, I agree. With DCG, me and Jamar put together a monthly report, and it's mainly geared towards crypto, but we cover the economy and the stock market in that, and it's definitely a part of it and important.
Yes, it's very important. So, anybody else? Go ahead.
Understanding history, and in my case, and knowing that, understanding that, and a lot of people don't know this. People don't. Back in 2008, right? Whether the government they did a bailout. They issued, and you have to look at the history, because they did a bailout, gave all that money to the banks. And this time coming, the government is going to do a bail-in, which meaning that they're going to get the money from you. If you look at Weimar Germany and you look at Zimbabwe, one day they woke up, couldn't get their money out the bank, where the dollar, their currency completely collapsed. Well, in Zimbabwe, it was cheaper for them to use their money to wipe as toilet paper versus going out and buy toilet paper. So you're looking at understanding history, the economy, when things are happening. This is why the people who are in the know, the people who are financially educated, which is why you have your show, they know when certain things, indicators start happening, they are rushing to safe havens, right? And so having some kind of idea about what's going on in the economy in the world help you to make a better decision, and understanding history, which is a lot of the stuff you're learning from tuning into these shows about stock and real estate and crypto and precious metals. And this is why this show has been born, to help you stay abreast of what's happening, so you can make decisions that's best for you and your family, because history does repeat itself. And you have to look at what don't do. Look at what they're doing now. You know, look at what the central banks are doing. Right before this stuff hit, a lot of them had gotten out of the stock. Some of them had sold their gotten out from certain positions. You know, they all know. They tell each other what's going on. They know when to get out, when to get in. You know, it's a game. It's a game.
A lot of CEOs
yes,
stepped down in January, February.
Yes, they stepped down from their board right before this whole COVID hit. So you have to understand. So you've got to make sure that you are getting the financial education. And I'm going to say this lastly, like even in my case, you know, in what I teach, you know, you got to know, well, okay, because some people will say, well, Erica, you know, what good is precious metals going to be? You know, when things hit the fan, whatever, you know, food and water is going to be more important. Yeah. You know, I encourage everybody to start planting and get your own gardens. And if you can move out to out of the cities and buy yourself some land, you know, you can do that. But, you know, if the economy, and let's say the dollar completely nobody wants to take it. Like, I mean, you've got a lot of countries now that are refusing to do business with the US dollar because they know Russia, China, India, these people are forming pacts. And this is why you see wars are being fought and things being happened, because they're like, we don't want to take your dollar anymore, right? We don't want it because we know it's too much debt. So if they're not going to take the dollar all of a sudden, now, what are you going to? Well, if you have something of value, that person will take that. That person will take that because they know it's worth something. They're not going to take that, to the dollar. Right now, if you understand what's going on with the game they're playing with COVID, they're telling you right now, a lot of stores we're not taking cash anymore. I've gone into certain stores and they'll tell you, no, we're not taking cash. And they'll say it's because of the COVID. Really, seriously, because you can contract COVID from I'm giving you cash yet, and so you're swiping your debit card, touching the machines all day long. You know what I'm saying? But it's just game because they're telling you they're getting rid of cash. We are moving towards a cashless society, whether you're all ready for it or not. Things are changing, okay, very rapidly. So all this stuff that you're seeing happening right now with COVID, with these riots and all this stuff, whether you want to believe it or not, is all by design because it's taking your attention away from what's really happening. You're being robbed. Okay? And so it's up to you to protect yourself and your family, educate yourself, because these people who are running these countries and playing these games on all of us, okay? Whether you're aware the game was being played or not, that's whatever, it's being played. And when you wake up one day and you can't get your money out your bank, okay, and they're telling you now, don't take. And I've gone to many stores. Will tell you, I was in Costco's and they have big signs up. We don't take cash. Okay, so you better be prepared for this brave new world that we're about to embark upon. And once you can get a hold of other forms of ways, real estate, which is always, like she said, land, gold and silver, God's money, cryptocurrency, investing, and learning how to make money and money make money for you. And I would venture to say, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, I know I talk a lot, but home-based businesses, as you can see, just with a flip of the switch, these people worldwide can crash the whole world's economy. That's some serious power. Think about it. And people have lost their jobs, their businesses that they've invested $500,000. However, businesses shut down. They can't provide for their families. But I'm going to tell you what business thrived. Online shopping businesses, home-based businesses took off because people are at home.
Exactly.
Okay? People are at home. They can't work. So home-based business is certainly going to be a huge trend moving forward, because they're already telling you come fall, this thing is coming back with a vengeance. Don't tell me how they can predict it. Mr. Billy Gates has said it's the next bioweapon is happening, and he used the word bioweapon is happening in the fall. So, who knows what's going to happen come winter time come, but you guys have to pay attention about what's going on in the economy. Not so much, these shows like this are important because a lot of us are tuning into mainstream media
Right.
all day long and consuming all of this stuff that are owned by the same people that are just running game on you. So you want to come to platforms where you're going to get real information.
Right.
You know, this network, this station where that's providing you music, content, you know, financial education. And you need to, these are the places you need to go. So you know what's really happening because things are being censored. Facebook is censoring, Google is censoring, YouTube is censoring. You know, so pretty soon it's going to be hard to find the truth. So channels like this is going to become more and more important as long as they allow us to be able to stream on their platform. So that's all I'm going to say.
Right.
I'll speak 1 second on the banks, like in the Great Depression, like 20s. You know, they did that here in the U.S. where banks shut down, and once they did get back going, they only gave you back, I think, 1 to 3.1 out of every $3 gave you your money. So, you know, what's to stop them from doing that again?
Right. So let me ask a question. How can people make money investing when we have a recession? Because, you know, many people will find an excuse, right? Because they don't know, right? So how can folks make money investing while we have a recession going on? Or should they even wait? I got to be the devil advocate here.
Who wants to talk first?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, I'm coming from when you talk about investing, for me, Wanda, it's going to be more or less ways for you to have cash flow. Okay, residual income and cash flow. So for me, I'm going to speak on the perspective of some kind of a business opportunity. You know, for me, I am helping people with precious metals as well as, you know, I have a financial solutions platform that also help people in some other aspects in some other areas to really help them to make some income and cash flow at the same time. So now that you're home and you have an opportunity, and I'm going to say home-based businesses, because, you know, your job can be taken from you. That's an investment. Remember, if you pay some money to get involved in a business, you're taking advantage of tax deductions, and two, the government, you know, that's a write-off. Okay. But you have to understand that what is also happening here is, you know, in the future, AI and robotic labor is going to be taking over most of our jobs. So they have to figure out what to do with the rest of us folks, these useless eaters that we don't want to have to take care of, because there will be no jobs for them. So you're going to have to find a way to become relevant. Because, you know, going back into this brave new world, thinking that we're all going to go back, everything is going to be the same, and after this whole thing is done, life is going to go back to normal as we know it. That's not going to be the case. So you guys have to prepare yourself from coming out of this industrial mindset of, you know, getting out there working for other people and working these jobs, to really looking at how you can brand yourself. What skill do you have? Are you good at cooking? Are you good at cutting hair? Are you good at cooking? Whatever it is, but you're going to have to start finding ways where you can provide value that people are willing to pay you for, because the world I'm not going to say it's changing, it has changed. And if you guys understand, that's why understanding what's going on is vastly important, because a lot of us will not be needed in this whole new brave world that's approaching. There'll be no need for us there. So how do you now make money? Okay, when there are no jobs. So investing, whether it's real estate, become a real estate investor, stocks, cryptocurrency, home-based businesses, which allow you to have residual income. In my case, you're able to basically not only have produce income for yourself, but invest in, I hate to use the word invest, but put your money in things that are going to make your residual income, protect your money, grow your money, and those types of things. And that's going to be important moving forward. That's it.
Okay. Well, I would say that during a recession is, you know, folks tend to forget or don't understand how certain investment performance and the reception and recession are related, right? Like for example, the stock market is a forward-looking mechanism, and then economic reports are backward-looking when you really look at that, right? And for this reason, stock prices often fall months before a recession begins, and it also means that stock prices often bounce back up because what goes up goes down, right? Before the recession is officially over. And so what I recommend mostly to my students, right? That when there's many different financial instruments, right? Let's take stocks for instance. Prices for stocks, they typically fall before the recession begins and almost always before a recession is often announced. So if you're trying to take, let's say, advantage of low prices, you'll likely benefit most by investing before the recession starts or during its early phase, right? Then bonds. Bonds price for bonds are generally rising during the recession as the Federal Reserve is stimulating the economy, right, by lowering its interest rates and purchasing treasury bonds, right? Then you also have like gold, like Erica says. Some investors see gold as a safe haven. I know I was taught that it's a safe haven. The price of gold often rises, during an economic market condition when it worsens, right? And so, how about you, Lily, in the real estate? How is can folks make money in this market in a recession? But one thing I want to first learn the market first before you even
Yes.
think of spending your money. Seriously, don't spend your money without learning because that's how you're going. That's a risk. That's the risk right there. You know.
I would say yes, you can make money during the recession in real estate. Again, it's the best time to buy real estate. But the best investment is when you invest in yourself,
Right.
when you learn all
Mm-hmm.
the different strategies that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
learn who you are to see which strategy best fits you,
Right.
because your personality may not work well with the real estate strategy that you've been given. Like, I don't believe everybody should be a wholesaler. Okay.
Mm.
There are some people who should invest in notes, you know. And then also with the recession, it's wise to know which market is best for the recession. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, right now, the deal that I'm looking at, or the deals that I'm looking at, I'm looking for a place where they are hiring essential workers, meaning cities where there's a lot of hospitals, where there's fire stations, where there's transportation like Amtrak stops there, Greyhound has a stop there or nearby. I'm not really too interested in a place that has too many retail,
Oh, okay.
unless it's grocery stores,
Right.
because I know that most people who work in retail, they're not, they're out of work.
Mm.
So that goes back to the economy question.
Yes.
But yes, when in real estate you can, but it depends on the market that you choose. I would say now is, no matter which way, whether you're going to buy tax liens, whether you're going to buy mortgage notes, whether you're going to buy an actual house, I would say in those areas, it's quite profitable. If you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be doing flips and rehabs, it might not be too profitable right now to do that. That I probably would wait until the tail end of the recession, when the market is about to come up. Then I would look into doing a flip or a rehab.
Right.
But right now, mortgage notes, definitely. Tax liens, definitely. Do those. Landlords, some moratoriums are still going on in some areas, some moratoriums are not. But either way, they're going to get that money, or they're going to get rid of those tenants. One or the other is going to happen.
Okay. And so, how about children? Can children get involved in investing? And if so, how do we get the children involved in investing?
You talking about in real estate or
In anything. Children can
in
invest in
anything?
anything. Gold.
Okay.
They can invest to get your children involved in cryptocurrency and the stock market. One of the biggest keys to successful investing in the long term horizon, is for kids. They have that. Kids have a long term horizon. So if they're willing to let their money remain invested for several years, then they're likely to see a nice return, you know, later on in life. So I think it's an excellent for children.
All right. Well, real estate, it's a little bit different. First of all, I'll say this. The same way people take their kids to church, they should take their kids to a mastermind group that deals with real estate so that the child knows the ins and outs of how to invest in real estate and also how to keep real estate, because there are a lot of people who know how to buy, but they don't know how to keep it. The second thing with real estate, when it comes to contracts, you normally have to be in your 20s. However, if you're between the age of 13 and 17, you can buy a house if it's in trust, if you're doing it within a trust, or if you have been emancipated.
Right.
Okay. So those are really the only ways that I can think of off the top of my head in which a child between 13 and 17 can actually purchase property or even to do crowdfundings, tax liens, etc. Well, no, crowdfunds, tax liens, etc. They have to be in their like 20 in order to buy it. But if you are going to buy a physical house, then 13 to 17, it's interest, or you have to be an emancipated child.
What does that
Or
mean?
I believe with runaways or with throwaways, it's something else, but I can't remember the specific term in which they can actually get into real estate as well. Because you do have children who use YouTube and they're making a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're doing affiliate marketing. They're making more money than their parents
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
So
That is true.
yeah, they're way better at marketing than I am. So
Yeah.
yeah, and they're really doing it. So yes, I just can't remember the specific term for those individuals, but for the others, I know that has to be in trust. And I say get it in trust with the grandparents who are like, or great grandparents who are like in their 80s, who've
Yeah.
already lived their life and have good credit, as opposed to another family member who is still who still relies on their credit to obtain certain things.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, what are you guys' opinions on folks practicing group investing, like with their families and friends? I know I definitely I wrote the book about it. So, and this is if you have funds, low funds. Like I know that it's very cost effective, for people who have low funds, and the less you put in, the more you can receive. If I put in $100, and let's say there's 5 of us, and we invest, and that's $500 every month we're investing. So little goes a long way, and then compounding it. But what are you guys' opinions on group investing? Do you think it's a good investment strategy?
I think it can be. Like you said, as long as y'all come together, everybody knows what's on the table and knows what the deals are. So
Right.
there's no backhanded stuff. Hey, here's the deal. Here's what's going to happen, and if everybody agrees with it, yeah, I think it can be.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's something that's definitely needed today, where many folks they don't even know how to invest. And sometimes in a group, there's someone that does know, and if not, then that's when you hire a coach or a mentor to come in. And it can be with your family, it can be with your friends. But I think that in order to beat this economy, people need to start thinking about investing, for your money to grow. And there's one reason why we invest, and one reason only: to profit. Profit. That's it. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. have a lot of clients globally that they make this real difficult. They want to invest because they like a certain car or because they like the company. And I'm like, no. It don't go like that. It's only one reason. And get that right here. One reason why you're investing, and that's to gain profit. That's it. So
I'm interested in that. I'm interested in doing the group investing. I'm not great with the stocks, but I'm interested in that. But I'm also from the Caribbean, so being from the Caribbean, we've always practiced, having group investment. We call it susu, from where I'm from, but or some people call it a partner, a hand, or whatever. But we get together, we collectively put our money together, and this is how a lot of times we're able to buy businesses, buy cars, buy homes, and things like that. So yes, it's a very effective strategy as long as the people all involved, pretty much you can trust, you have the same mindset, you know what I'm saying, and that type of thing. But it has to be a group of people, A, that you can trust, B, that obviously are experienced, or whatever the case may be, and it has a proven track record of results is what I would say.
Yeah.
And it's also you could even have a business out of it because it's two different types of investors. You can invest like with an LLC with a group of people and have a partnership, right? And then you can just group investing where there is no business. But it's one of the ways that the Walmarts actually started out. Their family, they formed an LLC, right? And so that's how they basically started through group investing. And look at them today. Look at them today.
Who do you recommend for forming an LLC? Do you have anybody is specifically in mind that you would recommend if someone wants to do an LLC?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I used to deal with Legal Shield, and I still do. I still can, but I sort of left it. Like I still have my attorney, my law firms and stuff. But I don't recommend Legal Shield because like it's more expensive. It's really more expensive. So I recommend people go to the state if you're willing to do it yourself with the paperwork. Then also local courts. Local courts, when you go there, you pay them the fee. You have to get a registered agent, and they'll do it also for you.
Okay.
And I don't like legal Zoom either. I don't like it because you're basically doing it by yourself, even though they say they give you an attorney. I mean, one thing about Legal Shield, you'll get a law firm to back you up. But when I look at the prices, and I had to keep it real with my clients, they're too expensive. So I'm here to try to help you, not try to hurt you. So I tell them, don't go here for this. Because Legal Shield is good for having a law firm to back you up. Amongst other things for your family and for your children and for your business. They're good for that, but I recommend that people go to the local court, and you can have them fill it out based on your state. Based on your state is the fee. Like here in New York, it's very expensive, especially in Manhattan. I live in Manhattan. It's very, very, very expensive.
Okay.
And so what I also recommend, you don't have to use, like I live in Manhattan, I don't have to use Manhattan. Where I go where the taxes are low, Delaware, right?
Wow.
So you figure that out. You figure that out because I'm not going to incriminate myself.
So you can do an LLC like in Delaware in another state.
Yes, they pay no taxes. I mean, like there's a fee you got to pay your registered agent, but some of these states, their taxes are very low. Like my family has land in Virginia, and their taxes is low too. We don't have to pay nothing on our land. It's low. But New York, forget it. New York, man, I'm sick of it. It's expensive to live here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very expensive. Yeah. So
and you also have to pay. You have to pay for something else when you're here in New York for your LLC.
Yeah, the article
listed.
You have to put it in the newspaper for at least a month.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then they want something like $600, $500 to run it for a whole month.
Wow.
Yes.
Big report.
Because it's required, so they can charge whatever.
I'm like, man, listen, y'all crazy. Nah. Even if I had the money like that to be spending it like, like a billionaire, I still wouldn't waste my money like that. Man, we've been on here a long time, guys. So how can a new person get started in investing in cryptocurrency? And what would you say to the new investor coming on board? If they wanted to join, you, Nick, you, Erica, you, Lily, what would you guys say to them?
I would say for me, you can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm open book. I'm part of a group with Jamar James, digital currency guy. We teach crypto, we teach trading. So it's definitely reaching out and getting educated. Don't just go blindly and go buy something, or even Bitcoin, because if you don't know what you're getting into, you'll have that wrong mindset of when the price does drop some, you're going to get scared and sell it and then be at a loss. And then after you sell it, it's going to go up. So it's definitely getting educated and finding people you can like, know, and trust to do that to help you get where you need to go.
Right.
For me, you can find me on Facebook as well, and there'll be a link that Wanda would also share my Facebook page as well as my link. But it's as simple as, for me, it's opening a free account. The account is absolutely free to open. There are no charges or anything like that. Depending on what your goal is, there's two aspects of what I do. But if you're just interested in just saving gold and silver, obviously, you determine how much you want to save and that type of thing. If you decide that you may want to earn some income and do it from a business perspective, that's another way that you can get involved. But you can reach out to me. The account will provide a link somewhere. It's as simple as opening up the account. You do have to get what we call KYC approved. And that's just, some identification to make sure that you are who you say you are. But I just want to say this, if you guys are considering gold and silver, you want to hurry up and do that, because it has been very scarce. It's not as easy to get. And with this COVID situation, obviously miners, in order to dig up the gold, mine it, all that, you need workers. Well, of course, because people couldn't go to work and shut down. So, of course, now that made it even less accessible. So where we have been preaching and telling people for years, now people, it's not as easy to get it. And then, of course, with COVID, now you're waiting for it to be delivered. FedEx can't get it to you because they have to sign, and, you have to sign for it. So, we certainly, none of us, we saw this coming. And so people just feel like, they can just do things whenever. Well, because they're predicting some other stuff coming fall, I would not procrastinate at all. If it's something that you want to do, I would say to make a decision and get started. The link will provide, you can open an account, get KYC approved. You need to talk to me to find out exactly, how much you think that you should save and that type of thing. Certainly, we can have that discussion. And thank you, Ms. Wanda, for having me on this amazing platform tonight. It was good.
And I did put, for folks that want to learn how to invest in crypto, Nick's information is in the comments, and Erica's information is in the comments. And so, Lily, how can folks get in contact with you?
I believe the best way is to use the email that is in the comments as well. That's the best way in which to reach me.
Okay. All right. And I would say if you want to learn about the stock market, I put my link there to get on my calendar, I say learn first. Okay. Learn the fundamentals, learn about the financials, learn how to look at the financials, read the financial reports, the 10Ks, the 10Qs. That's what I teach. The metrics, how to calculate the formulas, and so my link, my calendar is there, and also my ebook. If you want to learn how to invest as a group, I have my ebook link there as well. So just check it out.
Okay, I'll go there. In fact, I want my daughter to, now that she's home, I want her to learn, obviously, about investing in the stock market as well as crypto. So I'm going to have her reach out to you guys on that. And real estate too, because she's getting ready to go to college, and I was telling her, wouldn't it be nice to have a property that you probably can rent out to some students, and now you've got income coming in from there. And if you have maybe a quadruplex or something, you've got your own apartment, but you have 3 other apartments that are helping to pay for your mortgage. That makes a lot of sense, rather than paying the school for all of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the COVID kind of changed a lot, so a lot of schools are teaching remotely. But if they open up again and it's an out-of-state school, it's great, because then she could qualify for out-of-state funds to pay for college, like the TAP and is it TAP and Pell, or whatever those college grants that they give out, the state grants.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, having property out of state would qualify her for that.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
It's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then she'll pay less taxes because of her age.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I was kind of afraid to allow her to go out of state, because with all this stuff going on, if they shut down states, they're requiring you to get from one state to the next, you got to have this vaccination, whatever that is they're trying to do. And so with them predicting something else coming in the fall, I was a little concerned about having her out of state and what that would look like to have to get her to have to come home. So yeah, but that's good. This has been great. I thank you guys so much.
Yes. I want to thank you. Do you have anything you want to say? Do you have anything any closing remarks?
My only closing remarks is going to be thank you. For allowing me to be a part of this platform, and just to encourage people to come to this station and learn, and listen. It's important that you're getting alternative news, is what I'm going to say, and information and financial education. With all the stuff that's going on right now in this country, and particularly for my community, the best thing we can do for ourselves is financial empowerment. Yes. That is going to solve a lot of our issues, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And I just want to go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us, for doing this. Like I said, just financial education, learning, reaching out to people who maybe already know, and just getting educated.
Yeah. Yes. And so I just want to thank you all. I mean, it's been all these 3 years almost, right? And we just been giving it away. And I can honestly say that everybody on this platform, we just give it to you guys. I mean, every week we're giving it financial education. You don't know how to invest. Come on the station, like Erica said, come on the station. You learn about cryptocurrency. You learn about gold. You learn about real estate. Learn about the stock market. And then we invite other guests that come on. A lot of times we all interview folks. We invite other guests to come on or come on board so you can learn how to invest, because this economy, that's the only way you're going to beat it, really. You got to learn how this economy works, and how to beat it. And investing is one way. It's the best way. It's the best way. Okay. And so my closing remarks, let me just change it right here. Yeah, now I have to have my little closing remarks. Okay, so an easy way to start investing during COVID-19 pandemic, for those of you who are just beginning to invest, right? I would say start with your 401k at work. Okay, set an automatic contribution from your paycheck into a diversified portfolio and forget about it, right? Or don't completely forget about it, and try to increase your contributions over time. You will get a tax break in your contributions, and you may even get free money, in some form of an employer match or a profit sharing contribution. But if you have a large amount of money sitting in the bank and you're afraid of the stock market that it will go lower, break up your contribution, right? And if possible, set up automatic contributions to your investment account so you won't have to even think about it. And consider breaking it up, right? So one thing everyone needs to know about a bear market is that it always seems like the world is ending when you're in the middle of one, right? And time again, when recessions and bear markets occurred, the same thing also happens, right? They end it, right? So when people seem to think a situation is hopeless, you want to still be invested, and we saw back in 2009 that the stock market started a long march upwards, right? And well before the long-standing effects of the financial crisis had ended. So when will the COVID-19 pandemic end? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm confident that this too shall pass, right? And we can we've been through wars, terrorist attacks, inflation, stagflation, deflation, SARS, Ebola, AIDS, and the list goes on and on. We've been there, right? So through all that, people have suffered as a society, and we always pull through. We always do. And this time should not be any different. And it's not. So what I want to say is that one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett, has profited heavily from buying when everyone else is running for the exits. Seriously. And many of those who have been wise enough to invest during the dark days of the modern history have ultimately been rewarded for the foresight and bravery. And there's no reason to think that this time is any different. It's not. And Buffett has famously given this piece of wise investment advice. He said, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. And I will let you just gauge to current public sentiment for yourself, right? And so I want to thank you all. My name is Wanda Fields. I'm the host of the Speak Life and Financial Freedom Show on the WFNY radio station. And until we meet again, may you all have a blessed evening.